Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're taking some truly bizarre and fascinating folklore and turning it into a double feature of supernatural justice. Now, if you think ghost stories are all about abandoned mansions and terrifying jump scares, you might want to completely flip your expectations. Today, we're exploring traditional tales where the afterlife collides right into everyday domestic life. So what actually happens when the supernatural takes over your daily chores? Let's dive right in, because in the stories we're unpacking today, ghosts don't just rattle chains in the attic. They make delicious street food and they fold your laundry. We're looking at two distinct stories from South Asian folklore that blend the mundane struggles of everyday life with absolute supernatural terror. And they show us that sometimes spirits just want to make sure the kids are fed and the sheets are clean. Part 1. Gangu, the Omelette Witch, a mother's love from beyond the grave. Our first explainer centers on a tragedy driven by poverty, where a struggling vegetable seller makes a fatal, rage-fueled mistake. Frustrated by his inability to earn enough money, his anger just boils over during an argument with his wife, Gangu. In a sudden fit of rage, Ravi fatally strikes her. Terrified of what he's done, he flees, leaving their two young children, Pinky and Rahul, completely alone and to starve. But Gangu doesn't stay gone. She returns as a Chudail. And this brings us to a crucial piece of lore you need to understand for this story. In these traditions, a Chudail is typically a fearsome entity, a woman wronged in life who comes back as a terrifying spirit, seeking vengeance. But as we'll see, Gangu's unfinished business completely flips this classic trope on its head. Left entirely to fend for themselves, the kids are desperate. Rahul searches everywhere for food, but finds absolutely nothing. They go to sleep with only water in their stomachs. But just as all hope seems lost, there's a loud knock at the door in the middle of the night. The supernatural literally steps in to provide where the human world failed. She tells them, "I couldn't leave you. God has sent me back to you." And the pure emotion here is just wild. Ganga returns not to immediately hunt down her murderous husband, subverting that traditional vengeance trope, but simply out of divine duty to feed her children. She magically produces a meal for them, and the very next day moves them to a new village. Disguising her supernatural nature, she actually opens a wildly successful omelet stall to support them. Which leads us to part 2, a recipe for revenge, rivalry at the egg stall. Because supernatural or not, human nature stays the same, and success always breeds jealousy. Gangu's delicious omelets are a massive hit, drawing customers from miles around. But this sudden boom in business soon attracts the anger of local human rivals. Two competing egg sellers, Rana and Kala, see their profits vanish and decide to take deadly action against the new vendor. It's a classic clash of motivations. You have the wholesome drive of a protective mother facing off against the petty greed of rival egg sellers. Rana and Kala are so blinded by jealousy that they actually hire a local goon to destroy her stall and kill her. And in a twist of pure dark irony, the thug they hire is none other than Ravi, Gangu's husband, who is now fully turned to a life of crime. So the crucial moment hits when Ravi arrives to attack the stall, and Gangu drops her human disguise. The omelet-making mother vanishes, revealing her terrifying, true Chudail form. She completely overpowers him, lifting her murderer by the throat, declaring, "I am not Gangu. I am her spirit. Your death is written by my hands." Ravi is absolutely terrified. He realizes he hasn't just found his dead wife, he's found his doom. But here is where the story takes a crazy twist. The rival vendors, Rana and Kala, show up and grab the children, holding them at knife point. Seeing his kids in danger, Ravi actually jumps in to save them, taking a knife wound himself. Seeing this genuine spark of redemption, Gangu decides to let karma handle it. She uses her supernatural strength to toss the greedy rivals to their deaths. Because Ravi protected the children, Gangu forgives his past sins. She leaves him to run the egg stall honestly before vanishing into the afterlife. All right, let's move to our second tale. Part 3, The Cursed Dream House. A 4-year wait for a haunted home. We're shifting from a street-side food stall to a newly purchased estate. A man named Hari has just won a grueling 4-year court battle to secure a massive, beautiful family home. It is meant to be their absolute dream house. But look at how fast this escalates. Almost immediately during the renovations, Hari feels strange shadows lurking behind him. He brushes it off as stress, right? Well, within the first week of moving in, his wife Vimla is totally overwhelmed by the size of the house and the chores. She hires a maid named Shanti, and almost immediately after, a man shows up offering his services as a dobi or washerman. Part 4. The Phantom Washerman. Laundry done in 10 minutes flat. So, Vimla desperately needs help with this huge pile of heavy curtains and bed sheets. The man claims to be the maid's husband, so she naturally hands over a massive bundle of laundry. But what happens next completely defies logic and the laws of physics. I mean, it sounds like a homeowner's absolute dream, doesn't it? A massive pile of dirty laundry washed, perfectly dried, and returned in literally 10 minutes? But when Vimla praises him to her maid Shanti, the chilling truth comes out. Shanti reveals her real husband sells milk, not laundry, and he's completely out of town. Shanti suspects this washerman is actually the ghost of Raju, a local dabbi who tragically died years ago when he was eaten by a crocodile down at the riverbank. Realizing a literal ghost has been doing their laundry, Vimla and Shanti tail the phantom to the river and watch him transform into a spirit right before their eyes. Knowing they're completely out of their depth, they consult a local expert, a tantric. These practitioners of mystical arts are exactly who you call in this folklore when you need to combat malevolent spirits. And thank goodness they act just in time. While hiding behind a tree at the riverbank, they overhear the ghost's true, terrifying motive. The phantom Dobby wasn't doing chores to be helpful. He was magically preparing Hari's clothes. He boasts, "Tomorrow night I will magic these clothes and take over Hari's body." He wanted to enchant the garments so that the moment Hari put them on, the ghost would possess him and walk among the living again. To protect her husband, Vimla has to execute a flawless, magical trap, literally turning the ghost's own chores against him. First, the tantric gives her babut, a sacred magical ash. Then Vimla sneaks home and carefully sprinkles this ash directly onto Hari's dirty laundry. Finally, she bundles it all up and hands the clothes right back to the ghost the very next day, letting him attempt to cast his spell. And the trap works perfectly. The ghost takes the laundry to the river, waits for dark, and attempts his possession spell by putting on Hari's magically laced clothes. The moment the fabric touches his spectral form, the sacred ash ignites. He screams out, "What is happening to me? Why am I burning?" The ghost bursts into supernatural flames and is permanently reduced to ashes, saving Hari's life and their brand new dream home. Which brings us to part 5. Karma never forgives. The rules of the supernatural world. Both of these incredibly vivid, slightly bizarre stories really highlight a very clear set of rules. In these folklore narratives, the supernatural isn't just chaotic. It acts as a highly specific moral equalizer, and it's deeply intertwined with the everyday struggles of running a household or providing for a family. Whether it's a wronged mother returning as a Chudale to protect her kids from a greedy world, or a clever wife using mystical ash to outsmart a body-snatching phantom, the ultimate takeaway is that karma always wins. Greed and violence, like those rival egg sellers or the murderous husband, always face a reckoning, and often from the exact people they underestimated the most. So the next time you find a perfectly folded pile of laundry that you don't remember doing, or you taste a street food dish that is just almost supernaturally delicious, take a second to think about these stories. It really makes you wonder about the everyday magic, or perhaps the unseen helpers lurking right inside your own home, doesn't it?